All glory to our Heavenly Father and to the Messiah, Jesha, and the Holy Spirit. Greetings to my brothers and sisters of all nations. All right, I wanted to do this morning is the story of creation according to my people's heritage, the Mayan, and the Popol Vuh. Now, let's do it. Now, it was still ripples, and everything was still, and emptiness was under the skies, and there was yet no person or anything. There was only the sky, and under it there was no earth, and only the sea was there as a pool of darkness. The sky, it was just the waters in the sky. Whatever might be was simply just not there. It was like the void. You know how it says in the Bible there was a void. Yeah, it's pretty much. Now, okay, yeah. So there was a void, right? And now there were makers in the sea together. You know, they allied with the plum serpent. Quetzal. There was also makers in the sky together. They were called the three hearts. For the three hearts of Orion, the belt, and also for the nebulas there. The horse, the flame, and the Orion nebula, which is behind that is the rift. Now, okay. Now it says together, together, with the together, they got together, the makers, and they planned and starting to create, right? Now the earth, they look. It says here just like the Genesis. They divided the waters, and the earth rose just by the word. See, just like it said, by the word. They brought forth suddenly. There was clouds, and there was mountains, and they separated the waters, and the great mountains came forth. Those were the chariots, and the sky was set apart, and the earth was set apart in the midst and of the waters. So pretty much like the same thing as Genesis, man. Then the makers in the sky planned they planned the animals, the deer, the pumas, the jaguars, the birds, and so forth, right? Then they established their nest, and the birds and the trees, and great, big, and small, right? Now they said, but see, then the gods, they said, were told that they told the animals to praise us. How the Bible tells us that the Father wants to be praised. Same thing here, but see, the animals couldn't. So since they couldn't praise to them, they know that their flesh was going to be devoured by other creatures. Because see, when you call upon the Father, then He's your shield and buckler, so to speak. Okay, so now it says that since they couldn't pray, they knew that they're doomed. That's why animals, they kill each other with no conscience. Now then they made a second attempt, it says here, and they formed a man out of mud, but it didn't look right, and once the water hit, it melted. So then it says, then like I said, it didn't look good. So it did talk, but once it didn't look good, it melted. So then they made man out of wood, and the ones that they made of wood were of no conscience, and they were giants. You know what I'm saying? So the gods decided to put away with these people and this whole creation by a flood. See? So everybody in the whole world knows there was a flood, and pretty much it's about the gods. Now, then you just see, then came a great destruction. Then came a great destruction, and the wooden the wooden people and the giants, it could be heard, saying agony and in pain and distress. They would try to climb to the mountains and to the hills, but the hills would crown them. They got to the mountaintops and they just drowned it. So yeah, man. So it was brutal, man. It was terrible, man. Then after a while, everything subsided. The gods decided to create man, and they created it through maize, maize and water. Now, from the corn, an imported crop, saying the Mayan people flourished as a civilization and as cultivators. So came the first farmers. And see, when you look at the word Maya, you read it from right to left. I am. I am. Adam. No. See, there were 6 deities, right? It says here, they covered in green and in blue feathers, right? And there was 6 deities from the sky and 6 deities from the waters. All right, see, it says there, right? And and the serpent of the sky from the got was they assisted. I guess they teamed up. You know what I'm saying? And they planted. Look, and it says here that the sky serpent planted a tall ceiba, as tall as like the tree of life here. From the 9 roots of the underworld, all the way to the 13 realms of the heavens, as far as our beliefs. So that's a tree of life right there. So I'm thinking that it's either actual tree of life, or it could be some kind of maybe the poles, or maybe the chakras, man. If you're in tune, I have to look into that, because yeah, I mean, I have a lot to learn from my own heritage, and not only that, but Popol Vuh is long, man, and I want to do another video because the next phase of that talks about like genealogies of the cosmos. So people had a deep understanding. Now, the sky and the earth now existed, but there was no sun and there was no moon. But there was a vain bird called the seven macaw claws to claim to be the sun and the moon, but was not true. Two ancestors, ancients, Hanapu and Sebaba, defeated him and the seven macaw by shooting him with darts. See, so the sun and the moon bombarded that fool with darts, right? Now, the twin heroes conceived when their mother Ixta spoke to them and decapitated head of their father, who Tiamat, Now Tiamat, who was spit on her hand from a cacao, the Hiamapa hand, he had been killed by the lords of the Hibaba on the underworld, Draco, Hydra, you know what I'm saying, the constellation. And see, okay, the Kuiper Belt, that's the fragments of Mars. I mean, yeah, not really Mars, but Saturn and Jupiter. But the asteroid belt that that used to be Tiamat, and see Mesopotamian tablets and other around the world, man. I forgot the name of the Chinese book and in India, places they speak about Tiamat and how the earth was fragments of Tiamat, right? So now it says here that the two brothers, the sun and the moon, that they decided to play a game of ball. Game of ball means bombing each other with comets, man. And so that they could bring their father back to life, they challenged the lords of the underworld, which is the Draconians, and planet Excellent, right? Now they played the game after they had survived the dangerous trial set forth by the underworld gods. They were able to regain their father's parts of the earth, and that's where they found the maze. So I'm guessing that the earth is pretty much fragments of Tiamat. Now, so here that it was reported that the corn mix with the water was the key ingredients to creating this new human, which was perfect in the sense that he would listen and praise. He was noble. You know what I'm saying? So this time, now it says here that there was this time now there was a certain what is it here? I'm sorry, scripture kind of faded out. Okay, here it goes. Okay, now it says here that this new creation alarmed the gods because they had the ability to become like the gods themselves, but they wanted to limit it, to have him limited to a capacity of just nobleness, to just mere worshiping, according to the Popol Vuh. Um, that is what their intentions was, you know. So basically, we've always been like, man, we're just a creation, man. What else can I tell you, man? We're just stock, man. Like, like a box of crayons, so to speak. But here goes. Now, it says here that the divine powers, after this, they had a meeting in the heavens, so they decided to blind man with their vision, so that and to darken the sky so that we can't see the whole constellations here. And this also is spoken of in the hymns Chrysler of Shakshinkra, some Indian book, the Danish history of Saxo Grammaticus, the Chinese history of the five books, and the Japanese Nihongi, and the practice of Kishe Nahor, okay, whatever that is. So around the world, it's been like kind of like the same similar story, man. Now the mankind, say, so mankind was sent to serve the gods, man, pretty much. Now, the next part, the myth of Vuku Cain. Okay, so it sound like Cain, right? Okay, after this catastrophe had ceased, and the wrath of the gods had been subsided, there existed a man full of pride whose name was Vokub Cain. Now, there, there, he had eyes of the color of fire. His skin was the color of fire, and he had brilliant eyes. Saying of sapphire. Now, he also wore silver, and he had the teeth of all kinds of jewels and emeralds. So this is Jupiter, man. Now, it says here that both the sun and the moon, moon decided to take upon him, and this angered the gods. So basically, the gods told the sun and the moon to go put in work on him, and they decided to shoot him with darts. See, darts to them is pretty much meteors, man. Now, it says here that in the struggle, he pulled the arm from the sun. I'm saying, I guess he yanked the arm of the sun. Maybe I could explain, that convulsion, super hot storm in him, Now it says here that in his pain, say he retreated and down to the core of the earth, where he lays there, and when he angers, he explodes volcanic. He spits fire. That's all the eruptions of the volcanoes, man. Because Jupiter was massive, man. You know what I'm saying? And like I said in the previous video, man, they're just a shell of themselves up there. Now, it says here that he had two brothers, one that had emerald eyes, and another one, that was of iron. So that's Mars and Venus. Mars and Mercury. I said that that the red one was blazing in fire. So and he was he would boost that he could take down any mountains. So they supplanted him with a massive pointy mountain. See, it makes sense. It doesn't tell you this here, but Olympic Mon, the biggest volcano or pyramid in in the northern hemisphere of Mars, is, I guess, where they stomped on him. And I said that the other brother, they stripped him of his emeralds, and they made him into a hot rock next to the sun. So that's Mercury, and that's how they stopped him, right? Now he said when they took the emeralds from his eyes, that's when he died. It says here, right? Now it says here that okay, so it says this, and I said this is the genealogy of the cosmos. Now the next part speaks about oh yeah, and they give a tablet here too. The sun, the gemstone for the sun is the ruby. The moon is pearls. Mars is the red crystal. Mercury is emerald. Jupiter yellow sapphire, what's it called? Saturn blue sapphire, and Venus diamonds, and Rocky is Gomez, and Ketu Catraz. And these two, see, because my people, they had knowledge. These two that says that Reku and Ketu, they're shadow planets. So I'm saying that Reku's Nibiru, and Ketu is another nemesis, like another one. And there's also a story here my people say about our sun fighting with his twin, and black hole sun, nemesis. I mean, and they says here that they're the ones responsible for eclipse and bloody moons and whatnot. So I definitely want to do another video because the next section in the Popol Vuh talks about the families of the cosmos, origins of the moon and all that. And then later on, it speaks about it even speaks about an apocalypse, man. So, man, as I read it and I take notes, then I'll present it. So, hey, man, there's always work to do. Well, I want to say I love y'all, and until next video.